Here's Mr. Barry White.
Oh, wait.
Oh, do we want to wait?
Yeah, Barry's good.
Barry is still fighting to see his daughter, unfortunately. And he's going to share with you his dilemma.
Hello, everybody. It's kind of windy out here, but see what I can do. My name is Barry White. I have a daughter who is 10, but due to CPS interference, I haven't seen her since she was 6. That's been since 2014. I didn't know the system was so corrupt, and I didn't know my sister was diabolical. I never harmed my daughter or abused my daughter in any way. CPS and the minors attorneys always went against the parents based on false allegations that I was a danger to my child. For years, CPS has limited my contact with 20-minute phone calls twice a month, traveling from San Francisco to Sacramento for a 1-hour visit just to see my daughter scream and fight and go crazy because she wanted to be with her parents. But in court, they would put on an image like everything is okay. When I wrote any 388 to present to the judge what was going on, they would always say it's in the wrong format and put the evidence out of sight. They placed all these restrictions on me and limited my phone calls, limited my visits, but a stranger could take my child for weeks at a time and they wouldn't say nothing. So really the only way I can see my child, I gotta be a stranger or I have to be on Facebook to see her. They put up a front like they protected her, but it's them that's doing all the psychological damage. In court, they pretend that everything is all right. The money is not in keeping a family together, it's in adoption. They don't consider the parents important to the development of the child because of the money. Even today, I haven't seen my child. Don't know where she's at. It's very traumatizing for me because I never had a Christmas with my child. I never had a birthday with my child or a Father's Day with my own flesh and blood. I think one of the biggest mistakes I ever made was letting my sister get guardianship. I didn't know she had a heart of evil, a heart of Jezebel. It was always working with CPS to block the parents, even though I was and still am living better than her. In 2014, I was in school. The mother called me and said she had to go to the hospital for me to watch my daughter. Of course I did. I was happy with my daughter. CPS came to my house 3 days later and said I didn't have custody and took my daughter, placed her into an undisclosed location, and because of the color of her skin, that place didn't want her there, so they dumped her on my sister, which turned out to be the biggest nightmare I ever had. I guess she called herself looking at the parents in contempt. But they took my daughter from me because they said I didn't have custody and placed her with my sister who didn't have custody. Finally advocating that my sister should have guardianship and gave her a paycheck. Since having control of my daughter on a ball and chain because of her I'm better than attitude, she began to sabotage the bond between the parents. We used to have to visit our child at a Taco Bell or a McDonald's or at a park for about an hour or so when we traveled to Sacramento because she didn't want us at her house. She started limiting my phone calls once a week for 20 minutes, and a lot of times I wouldn't even get a phone call. One day the grandmother and the mother was complaining that my sister was blocking everybody from talking to my daughter, even me. Somebody told me that my daughter got beat up in school and this woman wouldn't even let me talk to my child. I called CPS several times. They didn't answer. I told them this woman is preventing me from talking to my daughter. She changed her phone numbers, didn't respond, so I sent her an email and I threatened her because that's my child. You playing games with my daughter. And she blocked me out for a whole year. I'm steady sending her emails. I didn't know what was going on with my daughter. And to this day, I still don't know what's going on to my daughter. All the time she was blocking the parents off, ignoring my emails, but she was sending my emails to the police. So she set me up, had Sacramento County come arrest me in my place and place me in prison on a criminal threat. All the stuff I saved for my daughter, like rare books, money, bracelets, clothes, $5,000, my apartment, they was all gone. I had to do 17 months come out only with the clothes on my back. So I went back to the court recently, got an attorney, and requested to see my daughter. I was granted by the judge 2 phone calls a month for 20 minutes. Since June 5th, that was the court date, I have yet to receive these phone calls. It's been close to a month. I haven't heard from the child's attorney nor CPS. Like I said, they're not considered, the parents are not considered, of course, important. It's about exploitation and adoption, kids for profit. And another thing, I'm tired of this court system having a ball and chain, and this child attorney always playing a role, keeping me and my daughter separated months on end, keeping us hostage in this Keystone Cop court shenanigans. And what's a terrible thing about it, the mother had to get a paid attorney. She came on my court date on June the 5th. They granted her, she was begging to see my daughter on her birthday. They gave her 4 hours, a supervised visitation with my daughter on her birthday, so she got to fly out here from New York for a 4-hour visit and have somebody supervise. They just keeping my daughter in this court system. That's what they do, give you 2-minute phone calls for 3 months, 4-minute phone calls, then we'll let you see her with supervised position, on and on. But really, they just racking up keeping the child hostage for money. And then your child come out of the system more traumatized than ever. So right now I haven't talked to my daughter. They probably saw all my stuff on Facebook, my videos and stuff. So I don't know. They might try to use that as saying that I'm a threat to my daughter, but really I'm just exposing what they've been doing, and I'm gonna just keep on doing it. That's all I got to say.